Shalom, family. So good to have you at the different King Chat, Reverend Benson Akhigbe the second. You're welcome to
Thank
different
you,
chats.
Derek. We're here.
Okay. While this conversation is going on, if you have a question, you have a comment, please just leave it at the comment section. We're going to take all of those questions. And today we are looking at the way to the top, which is a subset of the discussion on aspiring to greatness. All right. And this discussion began at the first day of the week, which is Sunday. And Reverend took us through what it means to go to the top, the way to the top. It's a very interesting question. One would expect that the way to the top is the way to the top now, up. But he took us through some kind of path that is very interesting, and we'll be engaging that conversation to stepping it down to be able to have it in a handy way that we can practicalize, understand as we run. First of all, Reverend, how did you come about the series Aspiring to Greatness, and what is the inspiration behind the way to the top?
Aspiring to greatness is not that you are going to achieve greatness, but for people to understand, greatness is who you are. The only thing is that you are going to manifest it. So the word, or to the way the word is crafted, is that greatness is what you actually do something to be great. But the way God created us is that we are born great. In fact, there's so many sperm that came into your mother's womb that day, but you succeeded. So from the very beginning, you began to win. Now, how do you become great? I didn't say how do you become a success according to world standard. So what people will say, greatness is achievement. But the kingdom says, if you want to be great, what you need to do is to serve. And that's what we are looking at. Because it seems as if everybody's aspiring to be for the applause, for the accolades, and nobody wants to put their hands in the dirty trench. Jesus manifested greatness and authority when he had all the power in his hands, and he used it to watch to become the meanest servant in the house. And he washed the feet of his disciples and said, I have done this to you. I have all this, but you go and do likewise. So that was how the series came, for us to go back. Not even basically when we are in family together, but when we get to the marketplace, when we are in our trade, we can also know that the way to the top is to serve.
Okay, so thank you very much for that. While you were talking, you gave an insight into there are two trees in the garden, the tree of life, the tree of knowledge of good and evil. And the way you unpacked it, it was, I mean, you actually mesmerized our knowledge of the Bible at that level. I would like you to do a review on the tree of life and tree of knowledge of good and evil in the context of how you presented it at the first day of the week when you're talking about too much head knowledge can lead to.
Yeah.
Yes.
You see, we need to come back again and say, what was the original sin? The original sin was judgment. Man wanted to understand the way God understands things. And so he needed to, and he said, the enemy said, God is hiding something from you. And God is saying, no, you need to live life in terms of, in the realm of mystery. In other words, you can't understand the fullness of life. For example, if you understand the fullness of life, how you fullness of all the things that will go wrong as you were coming here today, I'm sure you won't come.
No.
You had faith that when you leave the house, you will come. So the tree of the knowledge of good and evil to people is not bad. And it's not really bad, but you want to know, you want to be certain about issues. You want to be certain about your life. People want to be certain about the next 10 years. About if I start this thing now, how will it go? There is no way you can do that. You will only have your head full of knowledge because you cannot master life by mastering good and evil. And that's why God said, man has become like us. Because the universe is very vast. And He says, no, there are some things you don't know. Just connect with me, and I will take you step by step. Because some of the things you think are permanent may be temporal, but I will take you along the way. So the tree of life will take you to the Shekinah glory of God, which is a full stomach, a full belly. And you need to live life by opening your belly. That's what they were in the Old Testament. It was belly, because they believe that you live life from here. But the tree of the knowledge of good and evil will leave you with a full head. And that full head is not going to take you to the Shekinah glory. It's going to take you to Shekleton, which is intellect. And intellect, another word for that is barrenness. And I give you an example. David was dancing and bringing the presence of God into the city. To Micah, it was not sensible for a king to be distrained, to be messing up himself like that and stripping himself naked in public, all in the name that he is dancing. It's not intellectual. She became barren. But I thank God it didn't end like that. In Isaiah 54, it says single barren. So it doesn't make sense to sing and get out of barrenness. And if you tell somebody you are singing and barrenness is going to be broken, it doesn't make sense. There are so many things that doesn't make sense. Whether you like it or not, you don't even know how the sperm fertilizes the egg in the woman's womb. People that can tell you it's only that. I was talking to a doctor. He said sometimes it's not what we do. It's that God just decided to showcase me. Where they did some other things and it failed, they just come to meet me. And it works. And I believe then when we were going to have our child, our doctor came to tell us then, he said, who was a relative and said, fertilization is of God. So we don't need to know all things. We need to have a part of our life that is in mystery. If we know everything, we have become gods. And you know that when you become God of your life, you know how it will end up.
Yes.
I believe it will end well or it will not end well.
All right. Thank you. Hope we're enjoying this conversation and we are creating room for you to make comments, ask questions, drop your observations. While we were talking, from what you said now, it seems that, given the example of Jesus Christ, the way to the top is down.
Yeah.
That's what it is. Now, one would say that is Jesus Christ, all right? And this is us. And when you come as a servant, you want to serve. Balance the tension between I'm coming as a servant to serve and I'm being taken for granted, I'm being squeezed, I'm being devalued, undervalued because I want to serve. Because people want to serve, but people don't want to be taken for granted. People don't want to be called fool. How do we balance that tension?
It's either we are followers of Christ. If you are a follower of Christ, that means that you are going to follow him step by step and everything. Did we take Jesus for granted?
Yes, we did.
So why do you think that when you are serving people who do not understand, they are operating in Shekleton, in the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, and you're operating from the tree of life, why do you think they won't take you for granted? Now, they did not send you. The person that called you is sending you. And the ones you are serving do not even know where you are coming from. Everybody deserted Jesus. Even the people he helped mocked him. And he said in Matthew chapter 5, they will mock you. He said it. Based on that you are my followers. If you are a doctor giving an injection to a child or any other person, do they like you?
No.
Would they insult you?
Again and again.
So if your identity is not tied to the one that commissioned you, is tied to your achievement, then you will be angry. The people you have been sent to serve will not understand most times, but they will come up after a while and tell you thank you. Just as when you are now well, and the doctor comes, you begin to hide your face, you begin to apologize to the doctor and tell the doctor that everything you said that time you didn't mean it. If that thing is not balanced, then we will actually believe that those that we are sent to go and serve are the ones that will give us the accolades. And when they don't give us that accolades or that applause, we get angry. Some will understand you, no doubt, but many will not.
Okay. I'm going to ask the Bible basis for this conversation for service. However, I'm going to ask you to please throw light between, this is service, throw light between eye service, because we're saying serve. Throw light between serving for eye service and serving because you are following Jesus. Then after that, we want you to run through the Bible basis for us to serve our way to the top.
I'll give you an example. I was talking to a man who owns a business, and he has CCTV cameras watching the workspace. And when he's there, people will just be working very well. So one day he got an idea, watch the CCTV, and discover that the one that doesn't even talk much is the one that does the work. Every other person, when he's not there, some people they will go and sit down. When he's coming, they will become agile. That's eye service. Why are you serving? Are you serving because of what people will say, which is eye service? Are you serving because of what you will gain, which is eye service? Because in this service I'm talking about, it's not what men will give you, it's what the one that commissioned you will give you. And also, we're not talking about only going to heaven, because when we talk about eternal life, it's touching the power of God right here and now, and bringing heaven here, so that when I meet you, I actually extend heaven to you and remove hell from your life. It's either I'm bringing hell to your life or I'm bringing heaven. So when I'm serving, bringing heaven to people's life, irrespective of whether they will embrace me. And it's like that in our nation most times. It's when the leader leaves that we now say, oh, that former leader was a very good leader, and this one, because we don't even appreciate people when they are doing their at that present time. So maybe when the person goes. So you must understand that there will always be eye service. But please, you as a follower of Christ should understand that you are serving not based on what you are going to gain. Because if it's that, I'm sure sometimes you'll be disappointed. And when you get disappointed, you start manipulating.
So the questions are coming now, not what we are going to gain. Are we supposed to serve without a reward at the back of our mind? If we are going to serve without a reward at the back of mind, then when is service too much?
Okay. You see, some people serve this eye service that I'm gaining something from serving. So I will not keep margin into my life, put margin in my life. I will overextend, overpromise, and I'll see myself not delivering because there's the fear of man. I want people to like me. But there's that balance, and every one of us is wrestling with it. But let's look at how Jesus put it in perspective, where he said, I came to serve. And they will have a massive breakthrough in ministry. And he will tell them, let's go and rest. No, that's not what we are. When there's breakthrough, we want to continue with more. We want to do more events. We want to go for more in the missions field and get more. And he's telling them, no, go and rest. So creating that margin and seeing also who will reward you effectively. There are people that don't have capacity to reward you. No, they don't have capacity. And those are the people you are sent to. How will they reward you? The highest they can even tell you is thank you. Or they can even insult you. Yeah, people have gone to share the gospel with people, and they have thrown some form of water that looks like acid over the people. And they want them never to come. Only for after some years say, if not because of you, I would have been here. There is something that happened to me as I encountered you. So serving, is it that you will not be rewarded? You will be rewarded. But by who? By who?
It's a God's methods are mean.
Jesus washed the feet of the disciples. Why did they not wash his feet? And he has been transverting the earth since Genesis. And none of those 12 disciples actually asked that they should wash his leg. So, and then sometimes some people will not, the people you have washed their feet will not be able to wash your feet. But no doubt, when he left, these 12 men, or 11, now one added, took the word, and the word has not been the same again. So you see, there is ultimate reward in service. If you are serving those people that you are sent to, and at the beginning they may not understand, but if it's genuine, there is no intention in your heart to use men. Some may fall away, some may not appreciate you at all, but it may be one or two who will get what the message you carry. They will run with it, and it will more than ever. The ripple effect will be so much that you will say, "Oh, what is going on?"
All right. If you're still watching and joining us, this is Different Thinking Chat with Reverend Benson Akhigbe, and we are looking at the way to the top from the series Aspiring to Greatness. This conversation happened over the weekend on the first day of the week, which is Sunday, and we are trying to unpack it in a way that we can touch it and apply it in our everyday life. So we are taking questions, comments, and you can also go back to our YouTube channel, FM Foundation, and go replay the message all over again. Leave your comments, leave your questions. We'll take all of them. We still have about 14 minutes to go.
Yeah.
So, when you were talking, you made mention we're called for service. We're shaped for service. So I did mention that you're going to help us with the Bible basis for service. Why did you say we are called for service? Why did you say we were shaped for service? Is it out of creative thinking you brought that point out, or there's a Bible basis for?
Yeah. When I was talking, there was some Bible basis for that, and it's all through scriptures. All through scriptures. Joseph said, "For this reason, you meant it for evil, but God put it so that I will save many lives today." Now, many people say, "I'm serving God." How do you serve God? How did people go to, when Jesus talked about somebody going to hell? He said, "You did not visit me." Matthew chapter 25. You did not do this. You did not do this. You did not give me, you didn't give me clothes. You did not do that. 1 John chapter 3 verse 16. No greater love than this, than for a man to lay down his life for his brother. And he went on to verse 17. If you see your brother not hungry, and you say, "God bless you," something like that. And he said, how is that possible when you have the money to solve his problem? The Bible talks about Romans chapter 12, that we are connected to one another. In other words, if this finger does not do what it's supposed to do, then this whole body suffers. If this arm does not connect to the body properly, we are shaped to be with one another. You're being with me and I be with you. We have things we share. There's some things you do for me and there's some things I do for you. So you can't effectively serve God if you can't serve man. Jesus was saying, he said, if you want to be great, serve. Ephesians 2:10. There's a job that God has given to you before you showed up. A job you had better be doing. In other words, there is something that you are needed for productivity here. That if you do not do your part, you are cheating the community. Both believers and unbelievers alike. Especially if we are in the body of believers. The Bible says when we come together, he that has a hymn, let him sing. He that has a prayer, let him talk. You have a word, bring it. In other words, we are serving one another. Not serve me. But these are the Bible bases which God has put in place. He told Adam, because the man and woman from the very beginning was called Adam. He said, multiply. Multiply. I've given you rulership. I've given you, what is rulership? Rulership is coming under to empower and going on top to protect. So, who are you empowering? Derek. Who are you actively making the person's dream come to pass? And who are you protecting from the things that wants to choke them? Not controlling, but protecting. Protecting, not controlling.
Okay, I think we'll come back to that. My parting part we'll have to talk about when you talk about you can't so effectively erase a servant, but we'll come back to that. And you also have highlighted protecting, not controlling, which is also a tension. But I'm going to ask, you were saying something like we're born to serve, both believers and unbelievers. In the context of our continent, Africa, and our context as Nigeria, can we really fulfill this mandate to serve? Particularly when it looks like what you're doing is like a drop of water in a hole. Can we really implement and achieve this call to serve in a system that, in quotes, that seem not to really appreciate that kind of service, because service should come with obvious kickback and tips?
You see, the voice of the crowd is so big, is so, or let me say, so loud, that we think it will drown the voice of God or the system of God. The patterns of this world is so, to a large extent, we feel is so great that, how will I put it? That God's own is too weak enough. The Bible talks about three leavens: the leavens of the Pharisee, the leaven of the of Herod, and the leaven of the kingdom. And leaven is subtle. You see, the problem in the world is so big that we believe that we need a big solution. But the problem started small. God said, "When I take you to the land, I won't take those people out of the land in one day. I will take them out little by little." And if He's going to take them out little by little, He told them the why. That if He takes them out, the lions will multiply and it will eat them up. Listen, today the world is crying for servant leaders. And that's the major revolt that we are seeing. That's in the I want this person to be my leader because he has a proven record of integrity, he has a proven record of so and so of serving well. Now, it may not look that the person they will win for now, but it's gaining momentum. And if it's gaining momentum, even others are now understanding that it's not as business as usual. What we need now are servant leaders, not people that will say, "Serve me." People that will go under and lead. Now, how do we think? Do we think that the whole problem will be solved in one day? That's what I'm thinking. It's not going to solve in one day. It's going to take little by little. Before that cancer cell got to stage 4, it started little, then it was not noticeable. Same thing, the solution will start small. If you and I, and those who are called by His name, we start doing it starting from their home, being a servant husband, a servant wife, a servant child, a servant leader and a boss, or a servant follower in that place that you are in. It's just little things. These little leavens. It will, when a leaven or a yeast enters a dough, the dough is very big. It's very big, monstrous, boisterous. But just put a little leaven inside the dough. The little leaven will leaven everything. And you cannot even separate the leaven from it. That's why God calls us the salt and the light. Salt does not change the coloration of anything. Light is welcomed by everybody. Because when you are in darkness and you see light, you love it.
Okay. So we have 6 minutes. And after now, we'll take a break. I will be back with ACCRT conversation. You get to know what is ACCRT after now. We have this question. Using this context of operating with the tree of good and evil, which I assume is the Adamic nature of being overly calculative and rational, are you implying that rational gives room to lack? Secondly, how do we know that we are actually serving the way God wants us to serve? I'll repeat the first question. Using this context of operating the tree of good and evil, which I assume is the Adamic nature of being overly calculative and rational, are you implying that rationale gives room to lack? And how do we know we're actually serving the way God wants us to serve? This came from online.
Now, are your motives to do anything governed with love? If it's not governed with love, because God has not called me to change you directly. He has called me to love you. The only person that can change somebody is God. and there's no vacancy in the Trinity. All I need to do, if I'm going to do this thing, is it governed by love? Because from the tree of life, what fits me is love. But from the tree of the good of knowledge and evil, what fits me are the patterns of this world, how I will be manipulative, how I will be controlling. I will have to do something so that I can control you or control the system so that it will favor me. That's witchcraft. It's intellectual. People will clap for you. But at the end of the day, it is not about the accolades or the applause. It's about whether you will truly, this thing that you are bringing to bear, will give life and will keep on giving life. It's a conversation we will keep on talking. And it's a repenting I need to do every day. Am I manipulating the system to favor me? Or I am just there, just as God gave us his consensual love. It's either we receive it or we reject it. And if you are going to take from the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, it's going to lead to barrenness. How? Every system that is an orphan system is actually, because from the knowledge of the tree of good and evil, you want to fend for yourself. You want to be the boss of your life. How has he favored you? And that's what man wanted to do. They wanted to take the tree of the knowledge of good and evil and become the judge of all things. What led to that? They lost the garden. Man started toiling instead of working. Same thing today. Am I taking out? Do I want to control everything of my life? And that's why I tell people, some girls will say, this is the type of thing I want to see in my husband, the list. Once you put that list, it's good to have a list. But I assure you, the people that got married now do not have those lists. Because having a list is objectifying the person. And you turn the person to an object, not an image bearer of God. So, what would that lead you to? The system that Egypt created led to famine. Because every orphan system is a system from the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, leads to lack. But the tree of life leads to abundance.
Okay, because we have 2 minutes and we need to draw the curtain, you can still drop your comment, your questions, we'll revisit them and we'll take them. So you are implying that being rational does not necessarily give room to lack, or may give room to lack.
Yeah, you want to rationalize everything. You want to be able to control everything. When you read the book of Ecclesiastes, you will find out whether the man was on drugs. He told you everything is meaningless. Meaningless does not mean that it doesn't mean anything. It means the original meaning is temporal. Everything is temporal. This shirt tattoo and I wear is temporal. It's going to fade away. Whether you are going to get money tomorrow or have that thing tomorrow is temporal. That's why you see people must constantly upgrade. They must constantly upgrade. People are born, people die. Things are given to you, you lose things. Things are temporal. If you do not understand that, you want to rationalize everything. Why is this cup made like this? Is there a rationale behind it? And the person said, I just had a dream and I saw it. He says it's not possible. Until I can explain it, I cannot believe it. Or until I can see it, I will not believe it. Have you seen your heart before? Do you have a heart?
Yes.
Who told you?
We grew up with that.
Okay.
Knowing. So, sir, lastly, a minute more. You cannot effectively erase a servant. That was an explosive punchline you gave at the first day of the week. So, sir, with 1 minute left, can you walk us through? You cannot effectively erase a servant.
A servant can never be forgotten. In fact, the redemptive gift in Romans chapter 12 is one of it is servant. Out of all the 7, the most powerful person is a servant. He has power, but is a servant that is very weak. Talking about Jesus and Moses, the Bible called them meek men. Meekness is not weakness; it's strength under control. Now, have we forgotten a man many years ago who came, led 12 men into the wilderness, and was taking them to preaching around with some other disciples? And after he's gone, have we been able to erase his name?
No.
And Jesus said, follow me. Follow me and I will make you fishers of men. Nobody forgets his servant. Nobody. They may not appreciate you now, but with the right motive where you are serving, not to be recognized, not for eye service, but just doing what the person that commissioned you sent you to do in the person's life. The person may not appreciate you now, but you see, nobody effectively buries a servant and he will not resurrect. For us, the thing is not life and death, it's life, death, and resurrection. We are constantly resurrecting every time. Every 28 days, your skin falls away and a new one is given. And you understand that. So we have resurrection life. The servant must always has resurrection life. Jesus said, take it from me, I came to serve. I didn't come to lord it over people. And today, you and I, we have still not gotten away. We are still repenting every day, effectively, and not living the way he told us to live. But we love him, and he loves us. Like I tell people, the only promise God has given to you that is eternal is the love of God. This is love.
Whoa. So soon is half an hour, and we have to draw the curtain. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back in under 3 minutes for Adulams Club Supernatural Reformation and Transformation conversation. You get to know what all that is about. So thank you so much, Reverend, for opening us into the call to service, to servant fathers, servant wives, servant civil servants, servant leaders, servants, everything. It's a whole big work, and we all need to soak in and just accept this truth as it is. Go back, listen to this message, make a comment, share, drop your questions, we'll take them again. Different Thinking Chat with Reverend Benson Akhigbe II will be coming your way again, same time next week, 11 a.m. on this webinar channel. Don't go anywhere. Thank you so much. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much, Eric.
Thank you, sir.
We appreciate you. Join us again next time. Shalom.